The spirit of Inari, Japan's mysterious fox deity. Welcome to another journey into the heart of Japanese mythology. Today, we're exploring one of the most beloved and mysterious deities in all of Japan, Inari, the god of rice, foxes, prosperity, and transformation. You've probably seen pictures of thousands of red torii gates stretching through forested mountains in Kyoto. Or maybe you've heard of fox spirits, or Kitsune, in Japanese folklore. Well, all of that ties back to one ancient figure, Inari. So sit back, relax, and let's uncover the story of Inari, the shape-shifting god who still watches over Japan to this day. Part 1. Who is Inari? Inari is a kami, a Shinto deity or divine spirit. Most commonly, Inari is associated with rice, the sacred grain that fueled the rise of Japanese civilization. But Inari isn't just a god of agriculture. Over the centuries, they've become a symbol of prosperity, fertility, success in business, and even transformation, both personal and spiritual. What makes Inari unique is their formless nature. Inari can appear as a young maiden, an old man, a shining light, or even as a fox. In some beliefs, Inari is not just one being but a group of deities working together as a collective spirit. This fluid identity mirrors Japan's relationship with nature and the divine. Nothing is fixed, and everything is interconnected. Part 2. The true god behind Inari, Ukanomitama. Now, let's go a little deeper. You might be wondering, if Inari is a title or role, who is the actual deity behind it? One of the most important figures worshipped as Inari is Ukanomitama no Kami. Ukanomitama is an ancient Shinto deity whose name literally means, the soul of food, or, the spirit of sustenance. Uka refers to grains, especially rice, and Mitama means sacred spirit or soul. In the Kojiki and Nihon Shoki, Japan's oldest historical and mythological records, Ukanomitama is described as a child of Susanoo, the storm god, or in other versions, of Izanagi and Izanami, the creators of Japan. Ukanomitama is sometimes considered a female deity, but like Inari, gender is fluid. What matters is the role, the nurturing force that makes crops grow, that feeds families, and sustains life. Because of this, Ukanomitama became deeply linked with Inari worship, especially at Fushimi Inari Taisha and other major shrines. In many Inari shrines today, Ukanomitama is the enshrined deity, the sacred heart of the Inari name. Part 3. The Foxes of Inari. But Inari is never alone. Accompanying them are the Kitsune, fox spirits who serve as divine messengers. Unlike ordinary animals, Inari's foxes are believed to have supernatural powers. They can shape-shift into humans, become invisible, possess the living, and speak in human tongues. Kitsune are clever and sometimes mischievous, but those connected with Inari are mostly protective and wise. You'll often find fox statues at Inari shrines. Many hold objects in their mouths, keys, scrolls, or jewels, each representing something, wisdom, access to spiritual knowledge, or the storehouses of rice. And yes, foxes are said to love fried tofu, which led to the creation of Inari-zushi, sweet tofu pouches filled with sushi rice. It's not just a dish, it's an offering to the divine. Part 4. A brief history of Inari worship. The story of Inari worship begins in the early 8th century. In 711 CE, a powerful clan called the Hata established a shrine on Mount Inari, just outside the city of Kyoto. They believed a sacred spirit appeared there, blessing the land with fertility and grain. That shrine would become Fushimi Inari Taisha, the head shrine of Inari worship across Japan. Over the centuries, as Japan's economy shifted from agriculture to commerce, so too did Inari's role. By the Edo period, merchants, craftsmen, and even samurai began praying to Inari, not just for good harvests, but for success, health, and protection. Even today, over 30,000 Inari shrines exist throughout Japan, making Inari one of the most widely revered deities in the country. Part 5. The Power of Fushimi Inari Taisha. If you've ever seen photos of red torii gates winding up a mountain, you've seen Fushimi Inari. Located in southern Kyoto, this is the most iconic and most visited of all Inari shrines. The thousands of torii gates lining its paths are donations, from individuals, families, and businesses hoping for Inari's favor. Visitors often climb to the summit of Mount Inari, passing through quiet forests, small altars, and fox statues tucked between the trees. It's not just a hike, it's a spiritual pilgrimage. At the main hall, people offer rice, sake, candles, and tofu. Prayers are whispered, bells are rung, and fortunes are drawn. It's a blend of the ancient and the modern, the sacred and the everyday. Part 6. Inari in Everyday Life. Inari isn't just found in grand shrines. All across Japan, you'll find tiny roadside Inari altars, shrine gates tucked behind stores, and even Inari shrines on rooftops of skyscrapers. Children are brought to Inari shrines for blessings. New shops open with prayers to Inari. And families offer tofu, rice cakes, or sake to the deity at home altars. In daily life, Inari is a protector, a provider, and a silent partner in people's lives. Even the food culture carries the name. Inari-zushi, Kitsune udon, and tofu-based offerings appear everywhere. Part 7. Stories and Myths of Inari. Folktales about Inari abound. In one story, a poor couple finds a wounded fox and nurses it back to health. Years later, their fortunes change, thanks to mysterious help from a stranger, who turns out to be the same fox in disguise. In another, a young woman marries a kind and wise man, only to learn he's a fox spirit sent by Inari to watch over her village. These tales reflect the duality of Inari, human and divine, visible and invisible, kind and cunning. Inari doesn't just live in the clouds, they walk among people, sometimes in disguise, sometimes watching from the shadows. Why Inari still matters. So why does Inari continue to be so deeply loved in Japan? Because Inari speaks to hope. To the belief that with respect, gratitude, and kindness, we can invite blessings into our lives. Whether you're a rice farmer in the countryside or a tech startup in Tokyo, you can turn to Inari for guidance, protection, and strength. Inari represents the spirit of nourishment, the mystery of transformation, and the quiet guardianship of the divine. So the next time you see a red torii gate, a fox statue, or a humble tofu offering, remember that the spirit of Inari may be closer than you think. Thank you for joining me on this journey into Japanese mythology. If you enjoyed today's story, please consider subscribing, leaving a comment, or sharing with someone who might also love the world of Inari. Until next time, may your path be guided by foxes, your days filled with blessings, and your spirit nourished by ancient wisdom.